Have you ever wondered about the mental state of the African youth in today's fast-paced, stress-filled world? A world where they are expected to navigate the tumultuous seas of adulthood with little to no guidance. A world where the pressures to succeed are immense, and the resources to do so are scarce. The challenges faced by African youth are many and varied. High unemployment rates, poverty, and social instability are just a few of the obstacles they must overcome. And in the midst of these external struggles, an internal battle rages on, hidden beneath the surface. A silent epidemic, if you will, that is slowly but surely creeping into the lives of our young ones. This unseen enemy goes by many names: depression, anxiety, substance abuse. Its victims are everywhere, from the bustling cities to the quiet rural villages. It does not discriminate. It does not show mercy. And its effects are devastating. Depression, once considered a Western disease, is now a common reality for many young Africans. It is a heavy weight that pulls them down, a darkness that consumes their light. Anxiety, too, has found a foothold, fueled by the uncertainties and insecurities of our modern world. And for some, the escape they seek comes in the form of substance abuse, a temporary relief that only deepens the wound. The societal and cultural factors contributing to this trend are numerous. Our societies often stigmatize mental health issues, creating a culture of silence and shame. Many young people suffer in silence, afraid to seek help for fear of judgment or rejection. They are trapped in a cycle of suffering that can feel impossible to break. And yet, despite the gravity of this issue, it remains largely ignored. We turn a blind eye, hoping it will simply go away. But it won't. It can't. The silent suffering of our African youth is a ticking time bomb that we cannot afford to ignore. Behind every statistic, there's a face, a story, and a life waiting to unfold. Let's travel to Nigeria, where we meet Chinedu. Chinedu is a vibrant young man, full of dreams. He has always aspired to be an engineer, to build bridges and highways, connecting people and places. But his dreams are often clouded by the shadow of depression. Despite his struggles, Chinedu's spirit remains unbroken. His story echoes the resilience of many young Nigerians battling mental health challenges, their hopes and dreams undeterred by the hurdles they face. Next, let's journey to Kenya, where we find Amina. Amina is a bright student with a passion for poetry. She uses her words to express her battle with anxiety, giving a voice to the silent struggle many Kenyan youths endure. Amina's story is one of courage and creativity, a testament to the strength of Kenya's young generation confronting mental health issues head-on, their potential undimmed by their personal battles. Finally, we land in South Africa, where we encounter Thabo. Thabo is a talented musician, his melodies resonating with his fight against bipolar disorder. His music is his therapy, his sanctuary, his way of reaching out to other South African youths facing the same struggle. Thabo's story is one of resilience and hope, a symphony of triumph over adversity, a melody that echoes the determination of South Africa's young warriors of mental health. Each of these stories is a thread in the rich tapestry of Africa's youth. They represent the struggles, the hopes, the dreams of millions of young Africans grappling with mental health issues. They are not just numbers on a page or percentages in a report. They are real people with real dreams, real challenges, and real potential. These stories are not merely statistics. They are the future of Africa. They are the testament of resilience, the embodiment of hope, and the promise of a brighter future. So as we turn the page to the next chapter of our journey, remember this. Behind every statistic, there's a face, a story, and a life waiting to unfold. And it's up to us to ensure that these stories don't just end as statistics, but as tales of triumph, resilience, and fulfilled dreams. These stories are not merely statistics, they are the future of Africa. What happens when we choose to ignore the mental health needs of our youth? Imagine this, a seedling full of potential, ready to grow into a mighty tree. Now imagine that seedling deprived of sunlight, water, and nutrients. It wilts, it withers, it dies. This is what happens when we ignore the mental health needs of our youth. They are the seedlings, their potential unfulfilled, their futures compromised. The cost of inaction is grave. It translates to increased suicide rates, a reality we must confront. Every day, young people who could be the next leaders, innovators, or changemakers are losing their battles against mental health disorders. Each loss is a tragedy, a life ended too soon, a potential unfulfilled. Beyond the human cost, there's also an economic price to pay. Mental health disorders can lead to decreased productivity. Young people, who should be in the prime of their lives and at the peak of their productivity, are instead being held back by untreated mental health conditions. They struggle to focus, to engage, to contribute. The ripple effect of this lost productivity extends to families, communities, and economies. Furthermore, we risk losing a generation of potential leaders. Young people are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. They are the ones with the fresh ideas, the passion, and the drive to effect change. But when their mental health needs are ignored, we risk sidelining a whole generation from the leadership table. These are not just hypothetical scenarios. These are real consequences that we are already starting to see. The cost of inaction is not just about what will happen in the future. It's about what's happening right now. We must remember mental health is just as important as physical health. If we don't address this crisis, we risk losing not just individuals, but an entire generation. Ignoring the mental health crisis among our youth is a price too high for Africa to pay. So, what can we do to change the narrative? First things first, we need to break the silence. We need to start talking about mental health, and not just in whispers or behind closed doors. We need to bring it into the light, to our dinner tables, our classrooms, our community gatherings. We can start by creating awareness campaigns that educate on the importance of mental health, the signs of mental distress, and where to get help. These campaigns should be designed to break the stigma and misconceptions that have long been associated with mental health issues. We also need to invest in mental health services. More clinics, more psychologists, more psychiatrists, more counselors. We need to make mental health services accessible and affordable to all, especially our youth. But it's not just about the clinics and the counselors. It's about creating an environment that nurtures mental well-being. This means schools that encourage open dialogues about mental health, parents who understand the importance of their child's mental well-being, and communities that support rather than stigmatize those struggling with mental health issues. Policy changes also play a crucial role. We need policies that prioritize mental health, that ensure its integration into our health systems, our schools, and our workplaces. Policies that protect the rights of those with mental health conditions and ensure they have access to the care they need. Let's not forget the role of the youth themselves. They are not just the recipients of these interventions, but key players in driving this change. Their voices need to be heard, their experiences shared, their ideas included. The time is now. We can no longer afford to ignore the mental health crisis among our youth. We can no longer afford to lose our future leaders, our innovators, our dreamers to this silent epidemic. The mental health of our youth is not just an individual issue, but a collective responsibility. It is time for us to stand up, speak out, and take action for the mental well-being of our African youth. If you think this video is informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe now at Young African Perspective. Leave a comment telling us your thoughts and any topics you'd like us to cover in subsequent episodes. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world with us.